Page number 79, Unit 6B, Rural and Urban Tourism. Unit Structure 6.1, Rural Tourism. 6.1.1, Introduction. 6.1.2, Definition and Characteristics. 6.1.3, Typology of Rural Tourism. 6.1.4, Forces impacting rural tourism. 6.1.5, Benefits of rural tourism. 6.1.6, Questions. 6.2, Urban tourism. 6.2.1, Introduction. 6.2.2, Definition and Concept. 6.2.3, Elements of urban tourism. 6.2.4, Factors impacting urban tourism. 6.2.5, Benefits of urban tourism. 6.3, Conclusion. 6.4, Summary. 6.5, Questions. 6.6, Reference. 6.1, Rural tourism. 6.1.1, Introduction. The tourism and hospitality industry is an important contributor to a nation's economy. It is an integral part of the economic development strategy for developing nations of the world, which are rich as biodiversity hotspots. Given the optimism related to the tourism industry in general, there is a great scope for rural tourism. A number of studies have pointed out that tourism has huge potential for economic development, especially for rural communities. Rural tourism promises to improve the social and economic well-being of rural areas. Rural tourism covers a range of activities: natural and man-made attractions, amenities and facilities, transportation, marketing and information systems. Rural tourism is visit to rural areas and enjoying farm-based activities. It also covers special interest nature activities such as ecotourism, adventure tourism, health tourism, ethnic tourism, etc. 6.1.2, Definition and Characteristics of rural tourism. Rural tourism can be defined as the village experience, which covers a wide range of activities and experiences that take place in a non-urban or agricultural setting. Such tourism typically entails the visits to wide open space with low levels of tourism development, very little tourism infrastructure. At the same time, provides opportunities for visitors to directly experience village life in a natural environment. The most essential features of rural tourism are as follows. Located in rural areas, functionally rural. It is small scale, uses natural resources, open space, contact with natural heritage, and has traditional practices. Rural in scale, small scale, uses local materials and basic infrastructure. Traditional in character, grows organically over a period of time, connected to grassroots, built by the people, of the people, and for the long-term good of the people and the area. 6.1.3, Typology of rural tourism. Mass tourism and alternative tourism are two sides of the same coin. Mass tourism is characterized by a large number seeking holiday experience in popular tourist destination. Alternative destination tourism, on the other hand, is sometimes referred to as special interest tourism or responsible tourism. It is characterized as small scale, using local resources and seeking meaningful contact with local communities' way of living and the local natural environment. There are three major types of tourism activities: heritage tourism, rural tourism, agritourism. All categories tend to overlap with each other and are not mutually exclusive. Heritage tourism. Sometimes heritage tourism is included under rural tourism. This format of tourism celebrates the social, natural, and cultural heritage of a tourist site. This may include, among other, nature-based tourism, ecotourism, agritourism, as well as partnership-based approaches. The primary purpose of heritage tourism is experiencing places and engaging in activities which represent the past. Visit to museums, cultural centers, archives, and tells heritage tourism. Nature-based tourism. Nature-based tourism, sometimes called recreation-based tourism, refers to the process of visiting natural areas for the purpose of enjoying the scenic beauty, including wildlife. Nature-based tourism may be either active or passive. Active nature-based tourism is becoming very popular in recent times, in which participants take part in outdoor recreation or engage in adventure travel, while passive form of nature-based tourism involves tourists who strictly observe and experience nature. Agritourism. Agritourism refers to the act of visiting a working farm of any agricultural or horticultural or agribusiness operation. The purpose of the visit is enjoyment, education, active involvement in the farm or operation. It involves taking part in a range of farm-based activities such as farmers markets, overnight farm ranch stays, visiting agriculture-related festivals, museums, and other such attractions. Grassroots and NGO engages in providing village experience to its members. 6.1.4 Forces impacting rural tourism. Scholars have identified a number of forces that drive rural tourism, which are as follows: alienation and isolation of urban life. Industrialization and urbanization have brought about social and economic changes in the society. This has impacted traditional community structures and has removed people from their natural environment. Gradually, the city has come to be associated with the stress, alienation, and isolation. This changing perceptions of landscapes explains why people travel to rural areas. Influence of media. Mass tourist resorts are associated with overcrowding, over-familiarity, and congestion. People always want something new and unexplored. Media brings attention to the alternative tourist attraction where people flock to experience novelty. Increasing environmental awareness, young travelers who are environmentally conscientious have understood the relationship between humans and environment. Green issues have raised the attractiveness of rural experience as ecologically sustainable tourism. Better educated travelers mostly would like to take up special interest tourism. Advancement in transport and communication. Transport communications and the removal of trade barriers, political and economic barriers to travel have made rural areas more accessible. Perception of health. Rural areas are perceived uh, as healthier, offering fresh, unpolluted air, cleaner water, fresh off the farm food, and outdoor recreation. Moreover, rural tourism offers a pleasant break from the fast-paced competitive life of urban areas and rejuvenates and recharges individuals. Opportunity for interaction. The rural tourism is real, rewarding, enriches the spirit, provides adventure and learning. Rural tourism is considered to be authentic, genuine in nature, as it is not artificially created or staged. 6.1.5 Benefits of rural tourism. Rural tourism may be niche tourism market. Nevertheless, it promises some of the following benefits to rural people and rural development. Economic benefits. Rural tourism creates job opportunities, especially for the youth. Job creation occurs in hotel and catering, trades, transport, retailing, for information and heritage interpretation. Rural tourism also creates new business opportunities. It facilitates expansions of complementary business such as service station, hospitality services, recreational activities, and arts and crafts. Social benefits. Many rural communities, especially those in the forest regions, have suffered serious economic problems because of commercialized felling of trees. Rural tourism can assist forestry by diversifying income sources for forest communities if the special qualities of the forest environment for recreational use are realized and developed. Tourism also brings about enhanced amenities and infrastructure to the area. This shapes the community's identity and shared image. This has positive implications for community pride, particularly rural museums, as an important repository of their cultural heritage. Cultural benefits. Rural tourism helps in the preservation of rural culture and heritage. In rural tourism, the sense of place is a fundamental element in both the tourist and host communities' feelings of what makes the area attractive to visit and live in. This sense of place is maintained through rural museums, which play an important role in preserving heritage. The link between arts and tourism can be a two-way process. Many rural communities use their arts and crafts, traditional dance and music to attract tourists to their areas. Environmental benefits. Rural landscape is a part of heritage. Visitors can impact landscapes positively through their contribution in the terms of political and economic benefits. Using political pressure of home tourism authorities. The funds that are generated through tourism activities can be used towards conservation of the tourist site. 6.6 questions. Rural tourism. State the definition and the characteristics of rural tourism. 2. What are the different forms of rural tourism? 3. Discuss the factors, forces responsible for rural tourism. 4. State the benefits of rural tourism. 6.2 Urban tourism. 14.2.1 Introduction. Urban tourism is an important factor of present tourism. Many developed countries have been using urban tourism development policies as effective measures to drive and rejuvenate their economies. Cities offer modern amenities and as well as historical features, therefore they are becoming much sought after destinations in the regional and international tourist circuits. Urban tourism is a rapidly developing segment in the world. 6.2 Definition and concept of urban tourism. The concept of urban tourism is very broad and it consists of all kinds of entertainment activities that are held in cities, tourism activities that are conducted in urban areas of the city is known as urban tourism. This converts the different types of activities such as visit to historical places or building, tourist attraction, landscapes, art galleries, attending special events which showcase the culture and heritage of the city. Urban tourism generates images of heritage and identity that are consumed by not only residents but also by visitors. For many cities, urban tourism is their basic industry which generates income and also supports of community generation projects. 6.2.3 Elements of urban tourism. Urban tourism comprises of basic three elements, namely primary elements, secondary elements, and additional elements. The primary elements include cultural facilities such as museum and art galleries, Jahangir Art Gallery, theaters and cinema halls, concert halls and convention centers, sports facilities and amusement facilities such as nightclubs, bars, casinos and festivals, Kala Goda Festival. The physical landscape such as historical street pattern, interesting buildings, ancient monuments and statues, parks and green areas, waterfront such as harbor, canal or river. Socio-cultural features such as liveliness of place, language, local costumes, costumes, friendliness, and security of a location. The secondary elements include accommodation, catering facilities, shopping, and markets, while the additional elements are accessibility to the area's transport facilities and parking. Tourist information in the form of guides and maps, etc. 6.2.4 Factors impacting urban tourism. Over the period of years, the evolution of urban tourism has been influenced by several factors such as economic factors. Urban tourism triggers significant financial gains as tourists spend a lot from the cultural experience point of view, visiting museums, monuments, festivals, and other events. Rural tourism may be a seasonal business, but urban tourism is not affected by seasonality since urban movements takes place all throughout the year, irrespective of the season. For example, Mumbai witnessed tourism all year round as it is used as an important transit point for travelers visiting other places in Maharashtra. Social factors as leisure gets redefined. One sees the growth of leisure time and also the structure of free time. As leisure time is spent in daily course, the holidays or leisure time has gone longer. People's mobility has increased due to progress of transportation services regarding higher traveling speed and rural traveling costs. Cultural factors. Urban tourism influences the increase in a city's attractiveness. Effort is made to promote cultural patrimony, hospitality, and heritage. This contributes to create an impressive image of subsequently attract tourist flows. Technological flow factors developments in the field of information technology and transport facilitate travel and booking and accommodation to a tourist site. The internet is also replete with travel blogs which direct tourist preference. Demographic factors also decrease in retirement age yearly, economic opportunities, late marriages, families with a double income, and no critics. All factors increase the number of tourists. Footfalls to a place, a number of tours and travel agencies who cater to specific individual demand also contribute to motivations to travel. Thus, there is an emergence of several segments of travelers from solo travelers, retired travelers, young travelers, honeymoon travelers, senior citizen travelers, religious travelers, and women travelers, etc. Juridical factor. A city's attractiveness is due to its rich history as well as its current status. Municipalities try to diversify urban tourism to cater to all types of tourists. This is done by rehabilitating regional centers, shopping centers, and keeping national parks within the city, preserving and protecting urban landscapes, rivers, and mountains within city limits. Mumbai city is replete with several heritage sites such as the museum, various art galleries, national park, the tribal colony within Hare, several Kollywood and its rich waterfronts. Slum tourism is also one form of tourism which is becoming desirable, especially in the developing countries. Municipalities create special infrastructure which encourages short-term stays within the urban area. 6.2.5 Benefits of urban tourism. Urban tourism may generate benefits for the urban communities as well as the overall society. This can be achieved through proper planning, development, and management. Tourism, by its necessity, can provide an impetus for development of new cultural and commercial facilities, which can be used by local residents and the tourists. Tourism practices permit the collection of necessary user fees from tourists, which can be used for preservation and conservation of natural, archaeological, and historical monuments, arts, and cultural traditions. Stantial is 2009 observes that urban tourism can bring a plethora of benefits to the urban community, which are as follows: creating new workplaces, new perspectives of local tourism firms, new investment possibilities, increase of incomes, and improvement of standard of living for locals, generating incomes from local taxes, which can be used for restoration of heritage structures. Improvement of infrastructure whose direct beneficiaries would be tourists and most importantly the residents of the area. Improvement of environment quality. So to conclusion, India has an enormous potential for growth in the tourism sector. Developed countries attract urban tourists while underdeveloping regions of the world attract tourists seeking village or rural experiences. In this regard, India has double advantage as it has rich agrarian areas as well as upcoming and established urban centers. Policymakers can provide novelty and of experience in popularizing both aspects of tourism sectors. The government should recognize this potential and devise policies within the help of all stakeholders in the tourism process. 6.4 Summary. The tourism and hospitality industry is an important contributor to a nation's heritage tourism. Nature-based tourism and agri-tourism are types of natural rural tourism. A number of forces impact tourism, such as influence of mass media, environmental awareness, development of transport and communication, opportunities for interactions. Benefits of rural tourism include social, economic, cultural, and environmental benefits. Tourism activities that are conducted in the urban areas of the city is known as urban tourism. A number of factors influence urban tourism, such as economic, social, cultural, environmental, demographic, juridical factors. Urban tourism may generate benefits for the urban communities as well as the overall society. 6.5 questions. Urban tourism. 1. Explain the definition and concept of urban tourism. 2. What are the three elements of urban tourism? 3. Discuss the factors of driving urban tourism. 4. What are the benefits of the urban tourism? 6.6 References. Final Details into Ecotourism Introduction. Second Ed. Routledge, London. https:// tourismnotes.com /adventure tourism https://greenglobaltravel.com /what is ecotourism 10 example steps to more sustainable travel.